go live. I hope that that worked. Yeah, not yet. Yep. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Cool. Get my chat monitor up. Nope. Do not. Do not clip it, please. Open chat. I'm so used to the chat being an option, like along the bar of things, like add this video to a playlist, and you know, add this, add that, and it's not anymore. It's in its own little bottom area next where the comments are. And it's like, all right, just gonna do a little bit of warm up shooting. There we go. I was like, I could definitely hit that. All right. I'm just gonna hop in. It's Splat Zones series, so this could go very well or very poorly. We're gonna find out which. Trying to get used to the splat wall. So yeah, it like always goes out that far. Yeah, if I jump and do it, it goes further. So I guess that's kind of like the best option is if I want to toss it out real quick. Do it like that. Now I'm just waiting for some. Okay, there we go. I was just observing. I was like trying to tell if it was the splat wall or splash wall, whatever the wall is. I couldn't tell if it was, oh, it's like splattering off your hat, and that's why it's, you know, spraying everywhere, or if that was my, oh, my special was charged, and then I was like, oh wait, it's because my special was charged. Yeah, let's see. How are we gonna do today? Alright, well, that went poorly. Alright, it looks like Gale's in a relatively safe spot. Oh no, I was gonna try to throw my wall out. Freaking chargers. We pushed them back a good bit there. Oh no. Dang it. I didn't realize they were leaving. I thought they were hiding safely. And then I jumped, and then they jumped, and I was like, uh-oh. That's a bad things are happening. Alright. Can't believe I survived that. All right. Oh, if this game had plays of the game, or play of the games, plays of the game, plays of the game, it would have been that. That was a play of the game moment. My God. They're probably gonna try to slip around. Yep. Oh, wow. I didn't realize there was one right there. Uh-oh. I keep doing that. I'm like, oh, I can just jump to someone, and then I die. That's my bad. I'm bad about that sometimes. But like, to be fair, it's like, it's tricky to tell when someone's in a safe position sometimes, because like, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, there's no enemy that can see near them. It's like, oh, well, they can't see them, but they're there, waiting. I died, but I took their control away. I'm gonna jump to this one. This is a safe spot right now. Ah. Alright, I ran him over, which was kind of my goal. With that, I was like, I want to try to at least just, like, get that guy out of here. Alright, we're doing good. Improvement. The improvement there being, I learned how to use my wall successfully. And honestly, it is a good support kit on Splat Zones, because I never thought about the use of the wall beyond like, oh, it can like block off a choke point, or it can protect you if you're like a sniper and, you know, from other snipers or whatever. But no, using it on a Splat Zone just to disrupt the enemy team's ability to ink turf is kind of nice. All right. Yeah. I think Splat Zones is honestly one of my favorite ranked modes in Splatoon, because it's such a Splatoon mode. About to start. They disappeared. That usually means we're about to start. There's one thing I've learned about this game. It's that if your people in the lobby disappear, it's about to start. Oh no, they're back. Never mind. Oh, hey, no, there it is. What was I saying? It was when you look at like Splatoon's turf war mode, like that's its, you know, basic mode. That was the premise of Splatoon. It's a shooter game where you don't have to shoot each other. You're shooting the ground, and shooting each other is more of a utility. It's It's not the game. It's helpful in the game. Ah. Tried to hang on. Could not. Okay. Oh. Whoops. Accidental snipe. That was rough. We almost took the lead. But now they have the lead still, and we have a lot of time to sit on. I helped take that guy out at least. They didn't have a lot of time to get extra points, so I'm just gonna go straight back. Yay. We took the lead. Alright, well, I at least took the guy out before he got that. Go off. So, you only had two explosions rather than 3. Whoa. There's so much time left. Crap. Trying to get rid of that ink. Whoa. Alright, that's not too bad. I've managed to eke out 2 wins somehow. I'm not playing at the top of my game. Like, I'm not shooting accurately, but I'm at least disruptive enough. And my walls are helping a bit. That's a good amount of ink. You know, I did a lot of turf inking. Despite dying a ton. And I also don't have, like, amazing gear right now. My gear's kind of rough. See, I think one of the things that I really like about Splat Zones is you would think, like, oh, if you're only inking the turf in this one small area, you're not going to ink that much turf. It's not going to have a ton of specials. Like, that was what I thought when I first heard about it. I was like, it's just like a worse version of the normal mode. Like, how am I supposed to ink more? And it's like, well, you ink more because they're inking that spot too. Like, it's this one small spot, maybe 2 small spots that are being inked, and everyone is throwing ink there, so it's just constantly getting painted over, painted over, painted over. And it's just a more controlled paint. Alright, so I'm gonna... How did we not take control that entire time? I'd pushed them back so far, and my guys did not manage to capture the point with it. I don't know how we did that. Did we all tunnel vision on killing people? We might have all tunnel vision on killing people. I don't know why I went that way. Alright. Oh, they're on top. I was hoping they'd be underneath. Ah! No! Oh, they were right there. I didn't think they'd be there. Alright. Never mind. Oh. I think I got one of them with that. Yeah. People need to realize that you can't throw a Booyah Bomb onto the center of like a raised point, because it doesn't ink well on surfaces it didn't land on. So if you throw it at the middle of that point, you're going to ink the middle of that point only. It's splat, like, Booyah Bombs are not good on rough terrain. And I feel like people don't think about that. It's like, they're disruptive on rough terrain, like they'll still deal damage to people, but they, like, Booyah Bomb's not as good as it looks. And I think that's one of the things I wish they had adjusted in Splatoon. I think they should make Booyah Bomb ink better, because it kills well, but it's like, I don't think it makes sense that it doesn't ink as well as it kills, you know? Like, you see this, like, giant explosion of ink, and you're like, oh, it's gonna leave so much ink on the ground. And it doesn't. I don't know, like, I remember having the same issue with Ink Strike. It's like this giant explosion, and then I saw it, and I'm like, that's it? that's the amount? I thought it would be a solid circle, you know, that would have been inked, not this, like, loose spiral. I could tell. It says no. Alright. Alright. No! Oh, it was in the rain. I couldn't... Oh, yeah, it was. Okay. I was like, I could not tell what was hurting me. I was just trying to get out of there. But there was so much going on. No! No! Oh, no. Why did you go down? Am I gonna go down now? Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, we're down. Okay. We have too many people filling the same niche right now on my team, and it sucks. It's like, we have 2 arrow sprays and me, which all are a similar niche. Oh, there's 2 storms going on. That's probably what got me the other time, because I could have sworn that I, like, had left a storm. And it turned out I was, like, in a double storm, I guess, and I'd left one. At least we have one who's like actually like flanking and stuff now. That might actually help us a bit. No! We have to get back in control and we cannot. Dang it. I was like trying to keep the point covered and hoping that someone would take out one of the enemies, but I just couldn't. What an edgy tag that was. Like it was not for anyone to know. Yeah, not for anyone to know. Meanwhile, they also have Wobungus 53. Well, me and Koski. Make sure to step. Yes, we have won. Oh, they're gone. That means that we found a match, probably. No, they're back. There it is. It's funny. It's like you just everyone disappears for a split second, and then suddenly they're back. It's like, oh, we've got it. Well, we have quite the team here. Quite the team comp. The enemy team has like a pretty balanced weapon comp. No! One of the enemies disconnected. Lame. That's just lame. Okay, fine. Start this again. All right. Epic Fart and Mario Fish. And Inkling. Oh no, they've got a sniper. This team is good against snipers, I think. Get out of here, epic fart. Okay, I got them. I said no thank you. I'm gonna jump to this guy here. I got them. We're doing pretty good, honestly, against this team, which I did not expect. I don't know if it's just that they're not very good, or if we're using the positioning we can effectively, but we stomped them into the ground. Wow. I'll take it. Maybe this is a good combo of just... you have all of the ink capacity. Maybe it is. All right. Okay. We take those, I guess. Cool hat. Upgrade. And I'm like another win away from the next upgrade on the gear again. Like, why is a Booyah Bomb not like this level of ink coverage? Like, yeah, you can have a spiral pattern, but like, give me like this much ink. But in a spiral. I have submerged and it is our time. Barnacle and time. And we lost our slosher. Took out their crab tank. I mean, I didn't kill them, but I broke the tank. Okay. Don't know how I survived that. No! I thought they'd have been partially hurt by the time I got there. I could just shoot them like once and they'd go down, thinking that they could hide, but no. They had like not been hit at all. Well, we might be losing the... I was gonna say, we might be losing this one. Alright, well, that's Series 1. It's okay, though. Oh, man. Nice, I have water. I'm hydrated. I got a net positive, so I'm actually almost to rank A. Okay. Oh, battle time. Literally. This one's hard for me. Alright, I wound up with the same team. Partially. Alright, that's a roller. I'm sure that is. I got KO'd. Oh, that was an ink mine. I could, like, see it. I just didn't know what it was. I've, like, never seen someone really use an ink mine kit much, so I'm like, I don't know what an ink mine looks like when I'm coming up on it. I just thought it would be invisible. So I was like, oh, is it like something special? I should get moving. Oh. That's smart. Use the one to hide the other. I'll give them credit for that. That was good. Oh, that is that same... Is that the same one that I ran into before? Or is this just a different person who's like, oh, I'm gonna need my inkling. And use dollies. Did we win? Oh wow, that was a knockout. I didn't even notice that we were that close. I was just so focused on staying alive at that point. 2 dabs. Bloop. Ooh, angry charge. That's one I do like to see. That's actually why I'm wearing a bunch of 10 attack stuff. Alright, next up. What we got? Okay, I actually like this one more. This is honestly one of my favorite maps in the game. I love narrow maps in Splatoon so much. They're so fun. I don't know why. There's just something about them that I find like a lot more fun to play on. I think so. Ah, I was trying to shoot one down. That was such a well done curling bomb. Like right at that spot, they couldn't have like reacted quickly enough. That was awesome. We got it before they landed. I was going to try to hit them when they landed. Though I don't know if I would have been able to because our splat line walked in front of my shot. They were probably also going to try to hit that spot. Barnacle and dime. No. Alright, back to the bridge. It's good for me. I'm still learning the barnacle and dime one, but this one I can do. Why are you all the way back here? Oh, okay. Trying to keep us from getting it in at all. I'm not doing a half bad job of it. Whoa! It kind of blocked it. I know it can. I just wasn't expecting one lob of that to actually kill. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Blaster. Woo. We're actually really close to catching up. If we can just last just long enough. No! No! I pushed back too far. I'm gonna launch that way instead of them. The Clash Blaster was dead. Or not. Jeez. Oh, is that that's a mini, that's why. But like, how are you charging it so fast? All right, we got it. I slowed them down enough by making them have to ink their way back. Oh, that was a lot closer than I would have liked it to be. We got it. No losses yet. I couldn't get out of there. Move behind the wall. Can't believe I got them. Ah, crap. Everyone went the same direction, and I couldn't get out of there in time. Ah! Couldn't get out of there. By the time I realized that the ton of missiles were coming, I was already dead. I didn't think they would be able to come down with that ready to go. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was aiming the opposite direction, pretty much. See, there's a ton of missiles coming. I got bubbles. They're dead. Ow. Jeez. We need to get involved or they're going to... So... We took control for a little bit. Got it. Oh, hey. Yes, I have. Yeah, the game was pretty intense. But yes, I have heard of that one. Not played it, but I have watched Hoodlum Callum played it way back. I mean, even his, because I saw his replay of it. And even that was way back now. I think that was after he played Pokemon Whack. Was that he redid it because they used a couple of the ones that have been introduced in Clover. Yes. I only found that out afterwards, though, after I established it. Because I was like, oh, let me Google it. Let me see what happens. You know, see if there's anything else that comes up. Because it was like after the fact that I'd learned, like, oh yeah, you should probably like come up with something more unique that, you know, yeah, like just general like branding ideals. And the revelation I had was I kept recommending recommending a German word, and I was like, oh, it's not the same. But I kept thinking it was misspelling it. I'm like, I don't speak German. Nope. I'm so bad at that. I get like 1 or 2 deep, but there are people who can do that way more than that. I am starting to use this actually in useful ways, once or twice every, you know, decade or so. Oh, cool. Yeah, my school did not offer it. We just had Spanish and French. I took French. Though I knew other people whose schools offered like a much wider variety of languages than mine did. I think, at least in the area I grew up, it was determined by the size of the school how many languages they could have. Or how many they could offer. My school had French and Spanish. I was one of the last French students, and then I think they added Chinese. Supposedly that was the one replacing it. I don't know if that ever was reverted or if that was kept. It was very, like, out of the blue decision. But, like, they were like, yeah, French is less popular, so we thought we'd add, like, Chinese, because it's, you know, it's a lot more different than Spanish, and, you know, maybe that'll interest people. Because, like, everyone just took Spanish, and then, like, a few people took French if they couldn't get into Spanish. So they were like, we want to add something that, like, is wholly distinct, and not so similar that one becomes the backup for the people who can't get into the other. Alright, we took the lead. There we go. Yeah, no, I didn't either. And there's like some of it that I think definitely reeks of just edgy. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that often disappoints me with like a lot of fan games is they just try to be like almost like pointlessly edgy because it's just like it's so far removed from like what Pokemon itself is. You know, so people are like, oh, what if I had a Pokemon game but someone dies, and it's like everyone's beginning to a game like that is somebody dies. Or like you kill people, or you know, one of those various types of things, or like, but there's like a character who like swears a lot. And it's like, it's hard not to do that. Like even when I was working on the like Fakemon game that my friends and I did in college, like we didn't intend to lean into a lot of those tropes. Like we specifically wanted to avoid them. Like there's not a death, but like someone disappears at the start, and that's kind of the motivator for the whole plot of the game. But we didn't want them to like die. They just get kind of sucked into another dimension, and you have to help save them. You have to find a way to reopen like the portal or like get into the portal to like find them. But like it's not like, oh, somebody dies. Yeah, no, literally, that's like every single first thought someone has. Like, what if they had this edgy thing or this edgy thing? So I'm just gonna do some turf war to wrap up. I've done 2 full series, and I don't want to do another series. So I'm kind of winding down. But yeah, I feel like that's like a very common thing. That's so loud. You know, like people will like, you know, kind of leap to these like tropes that are just like, this is something Pokemon would never do, so I want to do it. But like everyone kind of does that. You know, it's where like the Pokemon with a gun meme comes from and whatnot. And it's like we definitely, I think, fell into several of the tropes. Like we had the idea for like one character who swears a lot, but there was only one, and we also did it with the knowledge that we were making this game specifically for like college age people, not just like for a general release. You know, we were making it for people at our college so that they would you know, be like, oh, this, yeah, that's me and stuff like that. And we ended up realizing much later in development, like that's not realistically something you can do. Like it's just not feasible to make a game that in that little span of time, I guess. And like have those things. But like the one character we had that was going to swear, we thought specifically, we're like, this is funny because this is like the Nurse Joy of the game. It was like one of our friends who was like the sweetest person and just swore a lot. So we were like, yeah, no, that would be a funny direction to take it. You know, is like, oh yeah, like Nurse Joy is like sweet and helpful and stuff, so we'll make the character inspired by this other very nice and sweet person who just also swears incessantly. Yeah, I mean, go for it. It's always an undertaking, but it's like it's a fun undertaking. And there's a part of me that like wishes we were able. I thought that was, I thought that was inked, and it was not. It was just a tarp that was the same color as our ink. Get out of here! Get out of here! Now, we might have this currently, but we have 30 seconds to lose this still, so we'll see. Oh! I don't know how we did there. not heard of him. Let's see. I haven't even seen him. Yeah, interesting. I can try checking him out. Interesting. Why did he change it to noon? I feel like Smile gives a sense of like, oh yeah, it's a goofy, lighthearted type thing, like just a goofy project. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the... I'm trying to think of like some of the other tropes we fell into. We did fall into the slightly edgy trope of we added, you know, a vaguely edgy status condition because we wanted a counterpart to burn. And we were like, what would be a good option? And what we came up with was, you know, when you are bleeding, you get lightheaded. So we added like a bleed status, which is like a common thing in a lot of different like RPGs. So we were like, oh, it's not too edgy, but I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit. Like thinking back now. Or like we had some like relatively edgy design concepts, I guess. Like we had Necromander, which... Yeah. Necromander was basically just a little like salamander, but it was missing its eyes, its like, and all 4 of its feet, and its end of its tail. And basically it was like a little zombie salamander thing. And then because it was, you know, a relatively edgy design, we were like, oh, but we'll decrease the edge when it evolves, you know, because you'd think like, oh, it's gonna get edgier than that, but no, it actually didn't. It went in the opposite direction. We made it less edgy. It became a Komodo dragon ninja turtle looking thing pretty much, because he just has bandages on. Yeah. Oh, DMCA'd. Yeah, they don't take kindly if you do anything to make money, you know, from it. So if he was supporting it through like a Patreon or anything like that, they would, yeah, they would shut that down quickly. Oh, I almost got them. I don't think we're winning this one. I feel like that's a hard feat. Grant, I think Whack went further with a lot of things. Whack was like, it was funny because I was watching it and like Odom Callum has leaned away from like the super edgy and like you know, tone of, you know, like radical, or not radical red, of like Clover and stuff like that for the most part. Like he's just not fully comfortable with it. And then when he played Whack, he was just like, this game is like painful at parts because it's just so bad. Or like Clover, it was a little less than Whack. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely been things that have surpassed Clover on that input. Yeah, that makes sense if it's iFunny. Yeah. That's kind of lame. That is unchill. Yeah, it's like I was surprised that like Clover had a degree of like standards. At the same time, it's still Clover. It has low standards. But yeah. Yeah, iFunny is one of those things that like I never got in any way into, because like I knew a lot of people who used it, and I was like, when it was at the time that it was like just the mobile app meme thing, you just go to iFunny and that's where you get your memes. But I had mostly been getting my memes off of stuff like the meme base and like other, I guess, relatively like moderated platforms. So like I entirely missed out on like iFunny. I would just see things sometimes pop up that had like the iFunny like banner at the bottom. Yeah. But I feel like it's lost me already though. Like if it doesn't, like, having a pretty veneer, but like just a sort of slimy overall concept is just, I don't know. It's not fun. Because I think what a lot of people miss when they're making like the Pokemon Wax and the Pokemon Clovers of the world is that the things that are inspiring them in many cases, there's one of two sources. It's just bad, or it's they don't understand what like what actual, I guess, parody, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess what that actual, like, you know, if you look at like things like South Park and what it actually is, you know, or like other shows like that, it's like when they make like darker or like more offensive jokes, they do it at least with the intention, and it doesn't always land adequately and it doesn't always work well, but with the intention to like criticize those who actually legitimately like, you know, act or speak in those ways. You know, like one of the most common things I hear from people who like don't actually like watch like South Park, who like are uncomfortable with it because of like characters like Cartman being like main characters, and it's like they're like the heels of of the show. Like they're the ones that you see and you're like wanting them to lose. And I feel like a lot of people, when they see that, don't understand that the message is that sucks, and like that just isn't funny. Because like the whole time the joke is meant to be, look at this horrible person and watch them get nowhere because of that. And like the few times that it looks like they're winning, it actually turns out that they're not. Like the episode with like Cartman Land, where he like buys a whole amusement park and finds out that he can't have a whole amusement park to himself, or it won't be able to run. Like, I know I definitely went through a phase when I was in, like, early high school and stuff where it was like, yeah, no, edgy humor and, like, stuff like that. Like, it's a good thing to, like, you know, have that in the world. And it's like, it's not. It doesn't do anything. Like, it's... If you actually are, like, criticizing something, you can make something really beautiful and funny through the criticism of, like, groups that are worse. But it doesn't often happen. Like, if you look at, like, there's the entire episode in... Oh. Like, what's the one I'm thinking of? Like, there's the entire episode, just for example, like, that critiques sort of the, not just infantilization, but the sort of, like, way people view, like, people with different disabilities as, you know, less capable. You know, it's an episode of South Park where Cartman, like, pretends to, you know, be just, like, disabled and tries to get into the Special Olympics because he's like, I could totally win at anything because, you know, they're disabled and I'm not. So I don't even have to prepare. I can just win because here I am, this non-disabled person, and like I'll just win because I'm better at all of these things than them. And then the whole message is that that's not the case, and you think he's winning, you think he's getting to that point, and then it goes entirely south. It goes sour and he loses miserably because what he was doing was he was failing to like understand that, like, no, just because someone's disabled doesn't mean that they aren't capable of, you know, skillful acts or like honing fitness. And so he just gets his butt stomped into the ground throughout the episode. And it's like the whole first like 20 minutes of the episode, or not even 20 because it's like a 22-minute episode. It's like the first like probably 18 minutes of it. You're just like, oh my God, there's no way he's doing this. And then it gets to the end and it flips it on his head. And it's like, oh no, he's doing it. He's just underestimating. Like that episode like won like awards for its just like for its portrayal of like disabled characters as capable. And it like was this huge thing because it's like it's not very common to see in media that has that type of, you know, typical humor. And I think what a lot of people miss is that every time at least good dark humor happens, like it's in that way where it's meant to criticize the bad parts. You know, it's not meant to, like, I guess, make that look like it's a good thing. And the joke is the people who talk like that or act like that. Like, Another example that comes to mind was like, set this down. Like if you look at like Super Mega, they have a lot of like darker humor where the butt of the joke often comes down to, or I guess like the joke on the surface level comes down to the, you know, Matt or Ryan being like racist or homophobic or sexist or something to that effect, when their goal is to make fun of the people being like that. And they also do have limits. Like they're not trying to be like a, oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Like an iDubbbz. You know, where they're taking it so far. But it's like, I think that like that type of content, like it can be good, it can be fun, but it has to be done like well. And I think like early iDubbbz is an example of like it was not done well. He didn't have standards, and he didn't realize that what he was putting out was making people think that that was actually him, when this whole time he was kind of playing a character that was this horrible person. And then he would meet fans, and they would be horrible people, and he would be like, I don't want them to be my fans, these people suck. And that was when he kind of had his wake up moment, that he was like, I need to change the type of content I put into the world, because I'm not doing it right. If I'm making people grow up, you know, because they're watching me as like middle schoolers, these very formative years, they're watching me, and I'm like saying all these slurs and being really like crass and rude and sexist, and like the way I'm doing it, I'm not ever breaking character. I'm just always on in every piece of content, and I just look like a horrible person. And then the people who gravitate to that are either already that bad or are becoming worse. And it's like, I think my wake-up call came just sort of like gradually over time, like towards the end of high school through college. And it's like, I still appreciate things that like have a darker premise or a darker joke, but I think often people mix up the idea of like dark humor and just being racist or being sexist or being homophobic. And it's like, when you look at the things that they're inspired by, they're looking at things that have a deeper message, whether or not it's well executed or it breaks character enough to adequately tell people like, no, this is bad, like you shouldn't be idealizing this is the character you're supposed to be disliking. But at the same time, in doing that, you know, like people are missing that message that they're trying to have. And I think people often get inspired by the wrong half. They get inspired by the half that's so offensive. And they're like, it's funny because it's offensive. But it's like, it's not. It's not funny because it's offensive. The joke is that the person being offensive sucks. And it's an easy message to miss. And people kind of are laughing at the wrong part of the joke, and that's kind of leads to issues, you know. It leads to people making games that are just not chill, or shows that are just awful. But it definitely depends, because there's times when it's done well. You know, like South Park sometimes does it well. I think they haven't always. I think they've gotten better over time at it, but I also haven't seen the most recent season, so I can't vouch for those ones, but I can vouch for like mid 2010s. Like Family Guy also tries to do that. well, or at least did, again, when I was watching. But, I don't know. Also, to answer this question, neutral. I don't know if I still have one. I did own one in the past. And I used it when I would pretend to be... I used it as this, it was like a Halloween bit I had. That was an alter ego. That was just this, like, absolutely cringe, neckbeard, fedora-wearing guy. You know, very I could be your angle or your devil type character. And I don't know why I fully got rid of him, because he was he was a funny bit. But for a long time, if you look back on like my other Pokemon playthroughs, you'll see that if my rival's name was Birch, I'd kind of talk like this and, you know, walk up to you and be like, "Oh, hello there, my gentle fellow," or whatever, you know, when the rival would walk up and start talking. And that was like kind of the character there. But like overall, I'm neutral on the garment. I think that the meme surrounding it is much funnier than I think most people do. But I still love that meme. It's so it hits me somewhere special. Like it's funny. It makes me laugh almost every time. Like literally, if I see the one that's the two photos of Egoraptor, where it's like young Aaron standing in like a shirt and like a vest with a tie, and you know, it's like I could be your angle, and then like the photo of him with like two katanas or whatever, and it's like, or your devil. It's just like, I laugh at that meme every time I see it, because it's like usually people use it as a reaction image now. It's such an old meme that it only comes up when it's relevant. But like people will like put that on like posts where it's like I saw one, I think it was like Elon Musk's college dorm or something, and it was this very like cringy space, and they were like, bro's out here looking like he's about to tell me he could be my angle. Yes. And I often do if they're done well. But at the same time, there was a whole phase I had that I am not proud of, where I did partake in sort of the wrong direction, and I later came to realize that, like, no, that's not what makes it funny. That's just what makes it, like, if it doesn't have the underlying goal of criticism of that, then it fails to be as funny. Like, I think of like Tropic Thunder, and like when they had like Robert Downey Jr. in blackface, and the whole point was that his character is not fully comfortable with the fact that that is his character that he's playing. And the whole premise is that it's a really awful casting choice for this character that he has to be stuck playing. And it's like, that one, I think that one can be funny. At the same time, when you look at, like, you know, the case of like iDubbbz's early content where he didn't try to, like, I guess, break character. It was like before his character break, and he like tried to change the like message he was putting out with his content. Like that one was like that content was just like rough. That was hard to watch. At least now. If I was like 14, I'd probably have laughed, you know. But I didn't even know who iDubbbz was back then. I like started to know who he was when I was like 18, 19. Yeah, it's crazy how quickly things can shift, you know, online and just like culturally overall, like what's okay and what's not. And I think that like that's one of those things where it's like I think the more cringe those time periods look, you know, even if they're only like 5-10 years ago, it's like the better. But I will look into it, but it does not sound like my cup of tea. But time will tell, I suppose. But yeah, like I think of like what is it? Like, I think it's been summed up in a meme very well, where it's the meme of like when a white kid tells you he has dark humor, he just means that he's racist. And that one's also a common reaction image that I see on like Twitter or something like that. You know, where like if someone like tries to make this like super edgy post, like people will just would just reply with that, or like retweet it with that, and it's like I think that lands every time. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna head out and go do human things as humans do. You probably should too. So, thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Otherwise, cool with me. As long as you had some fun. But yeah, I'm gonna head out, and I don't know what I'm gonna be starting this soon. I have yet to fully decide when I'm starting it, but the Pokemon Violet Wanderlock will be happening in the nearish future. Probably like within the next couple weeks I plan to start it. I don't know 100% for sure. But yeah, other than that, I've been trying to get an idea for a like fighting type Fakemon for the Fakemon type challenge I've been doing. So that should also be either an upcoming stream or just something I'm going to be posting at some point in the near future. I don't know exactly. It kind of depends on if I get the idea shortly before, you know, like next Wednesday or something, but we'll see. So those are some things to look forward to in the near-ish future. I am off. I have splatted. I have zoned. I have splat zoned. Alrighty. Farewell.